Falcon Coffees is a UK-based green coffee trading company. We source coffee from farmers in 21 coffee-producing countries around the world, mainly in equatorial countries, and we market, sell and ship those coffees to about 500 roasting clients. A sustainable supply chain is a supply chain in which every single participant, beginning to end, can operate at a profit. We're facilitators in the supply chain because we sit in the middle. We are the people who interact with tens of thousands of farmers worth of coffee, communicate between the farmer and the final buyer, and facilitate all of the logistics and execution and the movement of those goods. Sourcing coffee from farmers and selling those coffees to coffee roasting companies, it's very, very clear that the farmers are vulnerable and poor, and roasters live in resource-rich, wealthy countries. Our approach to building supply chains is really in recognizing that without smallholder farmers there is no supply chain. We look to building resilience, and that's about creating access to resources, access to credit, to training, to markets and to logistics. Sustainability is a very fragile conversation. The corporate response historically has been to do as little as possible, as cheaply as possible, with a maximum brand equity inside of legislation as a minimum, and that's not enough. The tipping point has to come where all companies realize that an integral part of their success and longevity generate client loyalty and grow market share based on the way they behave as much as it is the quality of their products.
Falcon is mainly focused on the SDGs of environmental management, access to financing, and technical training, all of which go to alleviating poverty, which is the ultimate SDG.
The whole market through the sustainable conversation is moving towards traceability. It's the first building block of any sustainable initiative. And when you demand traceability, you decommoditize the agricultural crop.
Using the digital technology available to us, we'll be able to manage a very fragmented supply chain that allows consumers to connect with farmers, which ultimately is our goal. Digital tools that make that much easier, from blockchain to cryptocurrency to mobile money. I think coffee is the prime candidate to start with because of the interest that consumers have in the origin of that product.
When we think about supply chains, really there are only two participants who add any intrinsic value. And one is the farmer that actually creates the commodity, and the other is the consumer. And by buying it really generates the revenue that has to pay for every participant in the supply chain. Every other participant exists to facilitate the relationship. The thing that I've found with farmers the world over, in the 21 countries we work, is they are stewards of the land and they're not going anywhere. And all they would really like is a consistent buyer year after year at a fair price for their product.
Falcon gives me money for the whole season. My coffee is marketed to the US, to Europe through Falcon. We are able to employ 60 women. Women around come and work every day and earn money so that they don't just depend on their husbands. That is a big achievement, and I'm proud of that. Through Falcon, my washing station is expanding. It's growing.
We have typically exclusive partnerships with exporters in East African countries. We are able to offer logistics and marketing services to those entities who can then offer those same services to producers like Joy here at Ashima Coffee Washing Station. The ability to have a connection down to this level, to see the impact of the work, is the ultimate goal and what we're after.
So we partnered with the Gates Foundation in Ethiopia and Ben Affleck's East Congo initiative in the Eastern Congo. Both of these organizations saw coffee as a potential vehicle to address poverty in these regions. For for us here, it's incredibly tactile. You know, every bean here is produced by people that we know, or have come to know, or bothered to learn to know. And that's a very powerful thing. Business leadership needs to think about the impact of their actions and consider what resources they consume and which people they affect. And recognize to be sustainable is to invest in the viability of resource replenishment and the longevity of the people that they affect. So if we can build a blueprint to sustainable supply chains in coffee, the legacy could be building the blueprint that's transferable to global food crops, and that could have a significant impact on global food security in the future.